Good morning, I'm Pratap Singh Gaikwad and welcome to another edition of the Buggy Khana. This morning, I'd like to introduce you to my 1987 Jeep Wrangler Laredo. I'm going to give you the story of how I happened to acquire this car and what she feels like to drive. So good morning everyone. I have Suneet joining us for the drive this morning. So welcome to the Buggy Khana, Suneet.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me. So tell us more about your Wrangler. How did you come to have this car?
So Suneet, this was the change from the CJ to the YJ variant of the Wrangler. And I think soon after she was manufactured, she was imported into India by a friend of my parents. Now Sukwand uncle, as he is known to me, he loved his cars. And even in the 70s, 80s, 90s, he used to have, the best cars in those days. He was responsible for importing this car for himself. She remained with him for a few years till I think sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s, my mother spoke to him and she managed to buy the car for me. And therefore, that's how I got the ownership and I became the second owner of this car at that point of time. She was actually in absolutely mint condition. So, I mean, much better than what she is today. He was extremely careful about how he looked after his cars. And when I got her, she had only about 8,000 miles on the clock and she was absolutely in mint condition. Obviously, when I first got the car, I was quite young. So the first thing I did was take the hardtop off and take both the doors off. I mean, it was great fun to drive around in Mumbai with it being a convertible and with no doors. So that's all I really did to her. And apart from that, she remained stock. I've had it for more than 20 years. And yes, I mean, while I used her mainly in the city because she used to be the car to take out at night, etc. It was fun to take her out because you could have your friends sitting in the car with you. But I did do a couple of trips to Goa, which obviously were a lot of fun, but unfortunately also led to her having some mechanical problems. Primarily because the fuel that was available in those days was of a very inferior quality. Therefore, after I took her, in fact, on my last trip to Goa, I had to leave her behind in Goa, only to be sort of brought back on the flatbed because, bad fuel, she wouldn't start, etc.
After your Goa trip, what happened to this car?
After she came back and, once she started giving me problems, then I just sort of went off her a bit and she was just parked in the garage and possibly parked in the garage for more than 10 years. Till very recently, a couple of years ago when I decided, to pull her out and get her back on the road again. Starting with the headlights in front, as you can see, these are the squared headlights, which were different from the earlier model, which had the round headlights. The color, it's black with a black interior. She still has the original paint as well as the original decals on the car. Everything, as you can see, is original on this. If we look at the rims, the quality of the rims, I mean, it almost looks like she's just come out of the showroom. So all the rims are in perfect condition. Yeah, so while she was in the garage, she looked like in bad condition, but luckily when we pulled her out, everything was intact. But because of the fuel quality issues, the only part that we had to change was the carburetor. And I think once we changed a couple of carburetors until we found the right one. Post that, as you can see, she runs perfectly again now.
So would you say that the car is in such original condition because she hasn't run so much in the last few years?
I think so. I think she got saved from me, because I remember again back in those days, I had many grand plans of raising the suspension, putting big rims and tires, and maybe even putting a louder exhaust. There were a lot of things that I was planning and scheming on, but fortunately, because she wasn't running, she sort of escaped from all of those things that I was trying to do.
Did you ever think that the Wrangler would be such a collectible car today?
No, I didn't actually. I mean, I knew, again, even in those days, there weren't many of these. So I always knew that it was a rare car. And she's one of those cars where I have got so many requests from friends saying that, listen, if I ever do plan on selling her, they would like to buy it. So she seems to be in a lot of demand from that point of view.
So tell us about the specifications about this car.
Again, everything from the steering wheel to the pedals to the carpets to the upholstery is all original, straight out of the factory. Nothing has been tampered with. Every single aspect of this is original. When you look into the gauges, you see the mileage that the car has done. It's just done over 17,000 miles. So again, extremely low mileage. She has an air conditioner also, which makes it very sort of convenient to drive in Mumbai. Apart from that, she has a 4-liter 6-cylinder engine. She's petrol, so she's a lot of fun to drive. And of course, she's a manual.
Any fond memories with the Jeep brand as such?
I was sort of introduced to this the Wrangler before I had bought her, from the point of view that my cousin, who studied in America in those days, he used to have a Jeep Wrangler in LA. So I used to hear all these fun stories of how he used to enjoy the car, etc. And that had sort of stuck in my memory. So when I got my Wrangler, it sort of took me back to all the stories that he used to tell me about his car.
So would you say that the Wrangler is like a perfect 50-50 car? Like it can do serious off-roading and also the city commute?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Wrangler has proved its off-road capability time and time over. And, that spills in even to the current Wranglers. As you know, they are widely used in America as a workhorse, as well as, for off-road enthusiasts. So it's an iconic brand and it's an iconic car. The shape again has been retained over the years, and it's unmistakable when you see it. So the CJs are the more sought after in America. I think the bodies were slightly different, but the main difference I think was the headlights, because the CJs came with the round headlights, whereas the YJ, while it is meant to be the improved version, they changed the headlight to the square specification, which is something where the purist went up in arms. And therefore the YJ was not the most popular version of the Wrangler for a very, very long time.
What do you think of the new Wrangler? Any experience with that?
I've had a brief experience because again my cousin has one in Nepal. So when I was there last, I got to drive it, and yeah, I quite enjoyed it. But obviously that was a 4-door version. I prefer the 2-door Wrangler.
Any future plans for this car? Will we ever see it raised with the big wheels and all that jazz?
I think now I'm enjoying the fact that she is so original, because again, I'm a big fan of Dennis Collins and his show The Coffee Walk on YouTube. And while he shows a lot of the CJs, I'm also seeing that to find a YJ in this condition would be extremely rare even in America. The car is done only 17,000 miles. She's absolutely stock original. I mean, it would be hard to find a car like this in America. So definitely very rare, and I think also an appreciating asset.
So what do you think about this classic Jeep movement that's happening right now?
Yeah, I think it's got legs, because a lot of these cars, again, whether it's the Fords, Willys, those have always been sought after. But now, you know, the old Land Cruisers, they seem to have come into their own a bit also. So I think definitely there is now a space, you know, because there are a lot of off-roading enthusiasts in this market, and again, that's driving up the value of these cars.
So touching on the same point, since you had all of them,
Yeah.
would it be a Land Cruiser or a Jeep? What would you choose?
I think they're that's a tough question. They're quite different, but in the modern era, I think it would definitely be the Land Cruiser, and yeah, and maybe going back, I think it would still be the Land Cruiser actually for me.
So a big Toyota fan.
Yeah, I think I am a Toyota fan. I mean, Land Cruisers are, I think they're special. They're strong, they're reliable, and they're unkillable. You know, they just keep going and going. I recently bought a 1995 model, and she's got about 270,000 kilometers on her. And she just starts up every morning. She idles well, runs well. No signs of any problem, and probably could run for another 5 lakh kilometers.
What is this Wrangler like to drive?
She's very easy to drive. Again, the power steering is very comfortable. The clutch, brakes, all very soft and nice. And again, with the manual transmission and the 4-liter 6-cylinder engine, she's got plenty of power. So actually great fun to drive.
And how is it like to sit on the left in India? How do you feel?
You know, it actually makes no difference. In fact, on the contrary, sometimes I find that it's in fact easier on this side. And you know, I've had cars which are left-hand drive for many years. So for me, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. The other important and fun feature about this car is the hard top, which is removable, and the doors. So it's great fun to drive her when the top is off and she has no doors. You're sort of firmly strapped into your seat belt, and she looks stunning with the big roll cage inside. If you come and have a look at the interior of this car, to the interior, as you can see, the dashboard, all original, steering wheel is original, all the gauges work, the air conditioning works. We have the original carpeting from new, the upholstery, the door cards, the roll cage. Everything is exactly as per how she came out from the factory. And keep in mind, that was 36 years ago. Also, as you can see, the keys to this car are original. They have never been lost. They remain with the car. And just when you look at some of the documentation, we have the original owner's manual, we have the instruction manual. So all of those things add to the charm of this car. Okay, so now coming to the rear, as you can see, the quality of the spare tire and the rim, absolutely immaculate. The tail lights, both of them immaculate. One important thing I need to mention, this car has never been in a road accident of any sort. Therefore, you can see the body lines, the panel gaps, they're all very tight and together. An interesting feature when you go to fill fuel, obviously is the fuel tank is behind the registration plate over here. It's hidden by this. And yeah, if you need to open the tailgate, this is how it happens. So it's very convenient. To load and unload. So I think that's all. I mean, I've highlighted all the sort of features of this car. So just to quickly run through it again, what makes this car special? Number one, make and model of the car. Number two, the condition that she's in, the originality of the car. She's only done 17,000 plus miles. So all of these factors sort of help to make her a collectible. So thank you for watching this episode on my Jeep Wrangler. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.